Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Ruchim Abbaim. We're continuing in Mishna Berura, Daf Hashavua. Siman Nun Gimel, Seif Vav. Siman Nun Gimel, Seif Vav. Ein memanin elamish nesmale zakanai. We only appoint someone whose beard is full. Mivnei kvoid hatzibur. So that's an official appointment. But the Mechaber says, Aval ba'akrai. But occasionally, once he brings two hairs, he could daven for the tzibur upon occasion. Now that implies that we have to check this out. But we'll see. The question is, could you rely on the fact that if someone is 13, probably they brought two hairs? The Mishna Berura says yes, because this is a d'Rabbanan. The general rule is, there's something called Chazaka the Rava. Chazak the Rava is, if somebody is 13 years old, they probably have two hairs. We don't rely on that for Dairaisa, only for D'Rabbanan. That's why, very often at a bar mitzvah, the unknowing father says, "Oh, Tatala, your bar mitzvah, make Kiddush for everyone Friday night." No, you can't do that. Make Havdalah for everyone. Can't do that. Can't do that. We don't have no documentation the kid is a gadol. He could laning is D'Rabbanan. Can't make Kiddush, should make Havdalah. Until what age? A bit later. Sometime later. You could tell when the kid starts, when you have the need to buy him a shaver, maybe that's the age. But not at his bar mitzvah Shabbos. He could be the Chazan as long as he's not appointed from the tzibur. Or if the Shliach Tzibur wants to appoint him, you do him. Those two are not allowed. In other words, someone who loy nesmale zakanai should not be appointed. He could daven occasionally, provided that he's not appointed, or the Shliach Tzibur did not give him the official assistant Shliach Tzibur position. Sif Kata and Chav Gimel. Hatzibur. Ve'ein hatzibur yichalam limchal k'vaydim hazeh. Oh, this is interesting. Let's say the tzibur says, "Nah, ma anu, ma chayenu, ma chasdenu, ma tzidkoisenu, ma yeshuasenu." True, but you can't be ma'chan, you're covered. It doesn't say ma kvaydenu. That's not one of them. They can't be ma'chan, they're covered. Tzibur shamachal al kvaydam ein kvaydam machal. Why? Says the Taz, the Dirshu Kotziv Katan Beis, because kavod at tzibur is kavod shamayim. Because they're mechavein to mechabed Hashem, that the Shliach Tzibur should be roi to be melitz for them. What about in yeshiva katana, where rubam loy nesmale zakanam? You have a bunch of 13-year-olds. So if Shlomo Zalman says, then this din doesn't apply. You don't have the din of kavod hatzibur. Fine. Siv katan chavdar ba'akrai. Kol zeh b'shar yomei Hashanah. That's the rest of the year. Abu tinius of Rosh Hashanah. V'yom HaKippurim. Afil ba'akrai ein ma'ridin. V'shlein mesmale zakanai. A tinus. In other words, this bar mitzvah boy, you could put him up for a marav, you could put him up for a mincha, banana sar b'teves. You hear this? Very interesting. It's kedai to remember. Don't put him up, don't put him up for a shliach. Don't put him up Tainus Esther. Sir, don't put him up mincha Rosh Hashanah. V'gam b'zein lahakel afil idei mechilas hatzibur. It doesn't help if the tzibur is meichal. Mishahevi shtei sarai. So it's omer achar shegiu liyud gimel shana. But achroi, once he turns 13, the koydem loy mahani asaris. Before 13, the hairs don't help. V'ayim b'magen Ram shekasav the mistama ein tzach livdoik achar hasaris b'zeh. Magen Ram says you don't have to check. Why? Regarding rabbinic laws, we follow the roiv that most kids who reach this age have the two hairs. Oh, what about according to the Rambam who holds tefillas d'oraisa? the shots cannot be moitzi others in tefillah ad sheneda bevadish shevi shtei sarais. Now, I have to say, I would not have said that. Because, again, the Pri Megadim is saying, we know there's a famous Achloikis Rambam and the Ramban, and the classic nafkamina is women davening. The Rambam holds tefillas dairaisa. Now, even though it sounds very strict, it's very lenient, because you could execute that obligation with one praise and one request. So a woman gets up in the morning, she says, Elokai neshama, she's already discharged her obligation. The Ramban holds tefillas d'Rabbanan. It's rabbinic, but they're obligated to do Shachris and Mincha. That's the Shita of the Ramban. Any event, according to the Pri Megadim that Tefillas D'Oraisa, the Mishna Berura says, then the shots cannot be moitzi others b'tfilasai. So I would have said, yes, he can, because the Rambam holds Tefillas D'Oraisa. But probably the guy, when he got up in the morning, he said Birchas HaTorah or like Neshama. So he already was Yotzei as Chiyav D'Oraisa. So now the shots is only being Moitzi him in a Chiyav D'Rabbanan. The Dirshu brings that according to Rambam, only Zmanei Tfilah Midrabbanan, but Iker Mitzvah is Midoraisa. Okay, this is interesting that according to the Rambam, the Pri Megadim says that a shots, you can't rely on Chazaka the Rava. Now, what's the reason why for the Iraisas you don't rely on Chazaka? Chazaka is the Iraisa. Yeah, this is a very important question. Why can't you rely on Chazakas for the Iraisa? So the Mishna Berura brings later on in Siman Nun Heis of Katan Lamed Aleph from the Pri Megadim that it's a Miyod Hamatzai of kids who turn 13, they don't have two hairs. Therefore, it's not that the Oiraisa you can rely on Chazaka the Rava. The Rabbanan were machmir legabe the Oiraisas you can't rely on the Chazaka. You hear this? It's not true that a kid can't lein Zachar mid Oiraisa. No, a kid could lein Zachar mid Oiraisa. The Chachamim are machmir not to rely on this Chazaka for the Oiraisas. The Noid Behuda, the Be'er Halacha quotes it earlier, and Siman Lamed Tes says it's only because it's Yichayim Lavarer. So therefore, if there would be a situation that it's Efshar Lavarer, then you could rely on Chazaka the Rava even for the Iraisas, even Midrabanan. Okay, so that's also a very important yediyah, that the din that you don't rely on Chazaka the Rava for the Iraisas is a din d'Rabbanan, it's not a din the Iraisa. Okay, fine. Siv Katan Chav Vav. If, let's say, the Chazan is tired, so he wants to appoint a kid to take his place on every third Shabbos, can't do that. Does that have a kviyas ha'itim? Because that would be a set time for those times. In b'chal zeh minu hakol shehu muchan l'spala imfam lo yachaz v'kaseh shabbos l'spala. What about if the tzibur wants to appoint the kid that if any time the Chazan doesn't show up, you'll take his place? That's okay, because that's not a set position. Meaning the Chazan can't say, I want you to take me over every third Sunday. But you could have him on standby. You could appoint him to be standby. Since it's possible it won't come to that. They only answered steady times if the time is known. If that time is definitely set. The Bach and El Rabba disagreed. They say to be the official appointee on standby is called kavua. It's not called it's only called temporary if there's no appointment. Sif Zayin. What if nobody knows how to daven for Amid? The only one who knows how to daven for Amid is this 13-year-old kid. It's better that he should be the Shliach Tzibur. It's not covered for the Tzibur. Maybe the Svara here it is covered for the Tzibur that somebody should get up and daven for the Amud. It's not covered for the Tzibur if there's a better alternative. If there's the only alternative, then It works. Sivches, Misha Einoi Baal Zakan. Guy can't grow a beard. He's 50 years old. His mother still didn't get him a shaver. So then, what do? Kol shenikar ba sheyagia leklal shanim sharoy l'smal zukanoi n'smal zukan green bay. It's not a measure of reality. It's not. In other words, you don't have to actually have a beard. You have to reach the age that the beard would normally come in. Hilkach ben esrim shana, a 20-year-old, afal pisha in loy zakan, even though he doesn't have a beard, mamaninoy, so you could appoint him. So it's not that his beard is nismale, it's that he reached the age shen nismale zakanoi. So nismale zakanoi karina be haga v'chenim hayaloi zakan afilu ma'at. What if he has, Brussels sprouts are growing? He has a few weeds growing in one corner, a shtickle grass growing in the other corner, but it's not full. So if he has little sprouts, karina ben mi ben yud chesel lamala. Then at 18 and up, he's already called nismale zakanai. Says Mishna Berura, she'ein loy zaken, lo figures as hagrabim sachsoim perak yudan ayin sham yetoy dazin bedin minoy hasaras hamavor besif tes. According to the Gra, the din of misha ein loy zakan, that the 20-year-old afal pisha ein loy zakan memanen oisai, it's going to depend on the din of a sris. And the din of Asris, we will see Be'ezus Hashem tomorrow. Okay, we'll pick it up tomorrow. Good to see everybody back. I hope everybody had a nice Yom Tif. I hope our friends in Eretz Yisrael are safe. Hashem Yishmerechem.